The Saint from the 40 Servants is a card or servant that's all about intercession, or about getting people who are more expert at whatever it is you want to do it for you, rather than doing the thing yourself. So the thing with saints in general is that it's an intercessionary type thing, where in the Catholic faith you would talk to a saint or pray to a saint to then go and pray on your behalf to the higher powers, or to God, or to whoever is, you know, well, in the Catholic faith, it is God is the highest order. So it's like you're asking whoever the saint is to pray for you to God, and that the idea would be that his prayers would be considered better, or more heard, or more listened to, rather than yours. You know, that he's a better emissary than you just going up and asking for these things yourself. So the saint in the 47 is kind of then about this intercessionary thing, about getting someone who's, in a sense, more qualified to do the thing you want, rather than you doing it yourself. So it's about hiring the plumber to fix your tap rather than doing it yourself, because the plumber is the better man for the job. So that's kind of what it represents. So to the book. The saint shows us how to ask for help. He encourages us to seek out experts who are more equipped than us for the task at hand, or who can intercede in our behalf. When the saint appears, it is a sign that you might be best served by asking someone to intercede on your behalf, rather than going directly yourself. For instance, you may benefit from someone putting a good word in with a prospective boss before applying for the job or making contact yourself. If an argument has occurred between you and someone else, the saint suggests that the best course of action is to ask a mutual third party to help smooth things over with the other person first, before you talk to them yourself. The saint also suggests that it's often better to use an expert than try to do something for yourself. Using an expert may be more expensive in the short term, but will save you a lot more in the long term, sometimes. The best person for a job at hand is someone who knows exactly what they're doing and have experience in dealing with similar cases. Now is not the time for you to try to learn a new skill. So while you maybe, you know, Mr. or Mrs. Fix It, and you're quite useful around those things, if the saint does come up in a reading, depending on your question and what you've been asking, then it is definitely a sign to say, well, right, you're good at these things, but there's people who are better than this, go to the expert. In this case, it's not saying that every time you should always go to the expert. It's not a representation of always go to the expert. The saint is the patron of magic and can lend his power to you when tasks that would normally be out of your ability range need to be performed. So this is again going back to this kind of intercessory thing. Is that the saint, the idea would be, is much better at magic than you or I. Much better. He's the patron of magic. He's the best at magic. That's the representation of that kind of magician who is top class. So if you want to desire something, or you're doing some sort of magic, then you can ask him to do this magic for you, because he's better at it and, you know, can intercede on your behalf. For instance, if a person, spirit, a demon or similar has not answered your call or request for assistance, you can ask the saint to help make contact and put in a good word for you, again interceding on your behalf. The saint is often used as the first servant, who then introduces you to the rest of the servants. That's in the Grimoire about the initiatory rite. It's the voluntary one, the one that's not compulsory. It's only if you want to do it. And some people just don't grok the saint, or don't like him, or it has the connotations with like Christianity or Catholicism that they're trying to get away from. So just don't enjoy the saint or that. Even though he's quite perfect in the kind of intercessory type thing that you would need to then be introduced to the rest of the sermons, it's not the only way you can do it. There's plenty of other ways. Robbie has done one initiatory rite from the witch and the messengers that are linked out on the site. So if you want to check that out, just a side note. The saint can intercede for you in presenting your goals, prayers, wishes, healing requests, or any other needs to the higher powers. If you feel that your prayers aren't being heard, or your magic isn't as effective as it should be, then an offering in front of the saint's image is suggested to ask him to help you to get the powers that be to listen to you. The saint can also intercede with other people. If you need someone to warm to you, you can send a saint in advance to help make the target more receptive and welcoming. Although in that case, the messenger may be more appropriate of a servant to use, but there's overlap in all these things. So the saint, extremely powerful servant or card to come across. If it comes up in a reading, it's basically telling you that go seek an expert. Don't be trying to do all of this by yourself. In magic, there's that whole intercessionary thing. He's the expert of magic. He can put in the good words with the powers that be. So a very versatile servant and one to have a good relationship with, even if you come from that whole disdain of Christianity or Catholicism or whatever it is that that gives you a bad feeling. Establish a new relationship with the saint, a fresh one, start from the beginning, that doesn't have all the connotations of the things that you're trying to get away of, which is the whole point of the 40 servants, is to have all the good bits from all of these kind of places without having to go through all the initiations or all the stuff that goes with it, all the baggage that goes with it. So, the saint from the 40 servants, if you need some intercession, check him out. So if you want to find out more about the 40 servants, you can go to the40servants.com, and there you will find all the information you will need to start working with the 40 servants. You'll also find links to where you can buy the grimoire and where you can buy the deck, and all the information that you could possibly ever want on the 40 servants will be there.